Or you can take a look at the coalition's petition. If you haven't signed it already, you can whip out your smartphone, okay? And go to grtlpetitions.online. That's GR for Georgia Right to Life, GRTL petitions.online. And you will see the coalition petition to the governor to support the legislature and our friends like Representative Byrd to move the amendment forward. Now, one of my co-laborers at Georgia Right to Life, Zibby Flack, will come and introduce our speakers for today. Zibby, come on up.
If there's any change in.
Thank you, Ricardo. Thank you for everyone who has joined us this afternoon for the rally. I do want to remind you that we have water stations in the front and back of the Liberty Plaza in case you need those. And also, if you have any questions, so it's my privilege to introduce I will be introducing this afternoon not interrupting the speaker really. We have 3, 4, 5 speakers. So our first speaker is Miss Abby Bute. And Abby is a senior at Lanier Christian Academy in Flowery Branch. She'll make her way forward. And she was the GRTL Oratory Contest winner in spring of 2022 with the win.
Y'all have seen my face before.
Oratory Contest. Abby hopes to pursue
You see my blue nails and my black skin, or brown skin. Hey, Frank.
After Abby presents her oratory, Carmentia Moore is going to address you. Carmentia Moore is an Atlanta-based technology consultant whose more than 2-decade career has included consulting for both national and international companies. Throughout the course of her career, Mrs. Moore managed budgets upwards of $100 million, managed more than 500 national and international resources. She is a wife and mother. She and her husband, Demetra, have 6 beautiful children ranging from 28 to 10 years old. And she is also a active pro-life activist, the vice president of the Eagle Forum
Sorry,
Georgia,
y'all had to go get my stuff out of the way.
State House, and political analyst. She and her family are faithful members of the Church of the Apostles. Following Carmentia Moore will be Dr. Haywood Robinson. Dr. Robinson wanted to become a physician since he was about 4 or 5 years old. He is a former abortionist whose life was changed by the gospel, deeply transforming his worldview, prompting him to leave the abortion industry and go into pro-life advocacy. He currently serves as the Director of Medical Affairs and Education with 40 Days for Life. And after Dr. Robinson, Representative Charlie Byrd will again address us regarding legislation for the 2023 legislative session. Following her, Abigail Darnell, who serves as the Vice President of Georgia Right to Life, originally from Northwest Georgia, now resides in Cobb County with her husband, Nathaniel, and their young daughter, Patience. So you have several speakers lined up, and so let's give them our greatest attention. And thank you again for being here.
A Nazi propagandist once said, if you tell a lie big enough and keep repeating it, people will eventually come to believe it. This is exactly what the pro-choice movement does. This same movement that claims to empower women tells lives. They do not want us to see the fear of young girls being dragged into a Planned Parenthood. They do not want us to see the dismembered body parts of a child that could have changed the world. They do not want us to see the guilt and the depression that follows an abortion. They do not want us to see the truth. If only we knew the truth, these tragedies could be prevented. For pro-choice leaders and organizations have kept the truth from us. They have so carefully crafted their lives that they have conditioned us to believe that abortion is moral, a woman's right, and a basic healthcare procedure. Today, I will open your eyes to these lies surrounding abortion and show you the truth. The pro-choice movement lies to us about the validity of life in the womb. They have conditioned us to think that an unborn child does not have the same value and rights as you and I. So I ask the question, what gives a human their value and their rights? Do all human beings have rights? Because if this is the case, science has proven time and time again that at the moment of conception, an unborn baby is a separate human being, not just a part of the woman's body as pro-choice advocates would tell you. A body part is defined by the common genetic code it shares with the rest of the body. And at conception, this so-called clump of cells has its own unique set of DNA, and it meets every single criteria to be a separate living being. So why do we devalue them? It is wrong and dangerous to devalue another human being for any reason, and history shows us this. It was wrong to ignore the worth of an entire group of people in slavery. It was wrong to ignore the value of the Jews in the Holocaust, so why is it suddenly a right to kill the unborn? Some pro-choice advocates admit that an abortion is a life, but in their minds, it's perfectly fine to kill another proven human being because they say that abortion is a right. They say it's a woman's right to choose, and it's her right to exercise her bodily autonomy. But human rights are defined as a right that belongs to every person. Since abortion is a human rights issue, I ask you to consider this. How can this same movement that preaches equal rights for everyone ignore the basic rights of millions merely because of their size, their age, or simply their inconvenience? This is completely unethical and hypocritical, yet this is exactly what abortion does. When we kill another human being purely because we don't see their value, that is the highest form of inequality. When I hear a woman say, "I have the right to choose," my response is absolutely. A woman has the right to choose to do what she wants with her own body. However, her rights end the second that they infringe on the rights of another.
That's
a woman
right.
cannot kill the baby inside of her because that would violate the baby's right to life. Gianna Jessen, a survivor of a third trimester saline abortion, said, "If abortion is about rights, where were mine?" The pro-choice movement not only claims that they protect our rights, they go as far as to say that abortion is empowering women. But if abortion is as empowering as pro-choice supporters say that it is, why do they lie to women about their services? According to a previous Planned Parenthood director, when a woman walks into an abortion clinic, she is not told the risks and the alternatives to abortion. Instead, she is told that abortion is safe and that it is necessary health care. But this is simply not true. Studies show that women who have had an abortion have an increased rate of alcoholism, drug abuse, breast cancer, infertility, anxiety, depression, suicide, and the list goes on. On top of that, abortion in its very nature can never be safe because every single abortion takes a life. This means with every abortion, we lose 2 more lips that will never laugh or encourage, 2 more eyes that will never fill with tears of joy or soak in a life's dream, 2 more hands that will never reach up and hope, and 1 more mouth that will never be given the chance to speak up for their own rights. They call their services healthcare, but since when does healthcare result in the termination of a valuable human life? I can safely say that this is not healthcare. Pro-choice supporters try to claim that as a result of us protecting the valuable lives of the unborn, that we are ignoring the health of the mother. However, only 8% of abortions are performed due to underlying health risks of either the mother or the child, and only 1% are performed due to rape or incest. This means that 91% of abortions are performed on completely healthy women to end the lives of healthy children. This singular statistic makes a statement about how we truly value the lives of others. Abortion is a statement that we do not care about each other and we only care about ourselves. We can do better than that as a society. Our women deserve better. It breaks my heart that women across America have been conditioned to believe abortion is the only option for the unwanted pregnancies. So my final point is, why do women see abortion as their only option? Why do they think in order to achieve their goals and aspirations, they need the ability to kill their child? It is because they have been fed lies, but they deserve to know the truth. True empowerment comes from knowing the truth. For those of you listening today, I call you to stand with me in the fight for truth. A few months ago, we got the monumental news that Roe v. Wade was overturned. Well, this is a huge step in the right direction.
Yes, she
Our fight
is.
is not over.
Very much
because
so.
the
And she's
decision
so
now
young.
comes back to the states. It is our responsibility as Georgians to make sure no more lives are lost in our state due to abortion. I also want to note it's not enough to simply outlaw abortion, because our state and our country needs a ground-up cultural shift that comes alongside women and reimagines how we treat and value life. And every single one of you can play an important part in that. A way that we can all start is by spreading the truth. The fight for life has never been easy, and it never will be. But luckily, the truth is on our side. While the pro-choice side uses euphemisms, talking points, and straight-up lies, pro-lifers empower women by showing them the truth. And the truth is this: every single one of you is fearfully and wonderfully made.
That's right.
No matter your age, your beliefs, or the decisions that you've made, you are valuable, and you have been from the moment of conception. You can make a difference, so take a stand with me in the fight for life. Thank you.
Good job. All right, here come my girl
I tell you, she
Carmentia.
did an excellent job.
Yes,
Out
she
of
did.
the mouth of babes, the truth is coming forth. My name is Carmentia Moore, and I want to start by saying, sound the alarms, sound the alarms, sound the alarms. We must sound the alarms. In the words of Dr. Mildred Jefferson, she was the first female Harvard graduate. She's a surgeon and a prolific pro-life activist. I will not stand aside and allow the concept of expendable human lives to turn this great land of ours into just another exclusive reservation where only the perfect, the privileged, and the planned have the right to life. The United States should be alarmed that there are those among us who will crowd in the streets and demand the right to choose to kill the unwanted, the unloved, the burdensome, the inconvenient. The demonstration of this adversary human being suggests a lack of heart, a lack of soul, and just simple common sense. This is not only genocide, this is national suicide. Liberals are actually keeping down the cost of taking care of the poor by eliminating them. Please understand, and let's not mince words. This abortion plot started out as a eugenics movement designed to eliminate the black race, the poor, and the undesirables, as confessed by Margaret Sanger herself. Black Americans who were once the second most fertile in the United States, only surpassed by the Hispanic, is now below the rate of replacement. Let me explain. In order for a society or people to sustain itself, a couple needs to have 2.1 children to replace themselves. Black America is now at 1.8. In other words, they're going extinct. It's amazing how the enemy of our soul have used black leaders, lawmakers, and false prophets to make us complicit in our own genocide, because that's what it is, and we have become complicit. They use catchy slogans like "my body, my choice." Question: who would truly, consciously choose to kill off their own race? The same descendants of women, great-grandmothers, great-great-grandmothers hid their babies from their master so they wouldn't be sold from underneath them. Now willingly sacrifice their babies at the altar of convenience. In the words of Paul to the Galatians, who has bewitched you that you should not obey the truth? They want you to believe that you're too poor, you're too weak, and simply unworthy to bring forth life. This movement was never about helping the poor.
How are you? Good to see you. No, I haven't seen him. I was looking for him.
I once fell prey to the predatory agenda. I once was bewitched by them. Consequently, I have 2 surviving children, and I've suffered 9 miscarriages.
Oh, gosh.
No, they don't advertise the adverse effects of abortion. They don't talk about the scarring of the womb, the increased miscarriages, or in recent news, the babies who are born alive and slaughtered on the delivery table. They don't talk about the women like Irwin, Cree Irwin, who died in her mother's bed in 2016 from a botched abortion. Or Tanya Reeves in Chicago, who died of a botched abortion. Or let's come here to Georgia, Sharika Maya, who died in 2008, botched abortion by Tyrone Mayo, who is now still practicing abortions here in Georgia. And thank you, Catherine Davis, for sharing these stories with me. But do not rely on these personal testimonies or the testimonies of others. We can look at the data. 75 to 80% of abortion clinics are located where?
In Black communities.
Black and Hispanic communities. Over 50% of the Black population has been killed since the conception of Roe versus Wade. The only race in the United States that have been stagnated in growth. Could you imagine the economic impact they would have if they would have grown instead of declining? They still be begging basically servitude to the government. But wait, it doesn't stop there. Like any cancer, it spreads to the general population.
That's why I do it.
The United
Thank you.
States, would you guess, as a whole, is now below the rate of replacement. I bet you don't see that on the news. We're now at 1.78 and falling. Yes, this historically Christian country is now below the rate of replacement. Now let me tell you why that strikes a chord with you. See, I understand that this is a spiritual battle. This is spiritual warfare. The war for the seed started in Genesis 1. Genesis 1:27 said God created man in his image. In his image, God created him. Male and female.
Thank you, Lisa.
He created them. God blessed them and said to him the first command.
Ooh,
What?
Miss Catherine Sharp.
Be
honey.
fruitful
Y'all want to see
and
Miss
multiply.
Catherine
What are we
Davis?
multiplying? God's image
She
in the
is
womb.
sharp today, y'all.
And let's not forget, there are
Through with the leather
reasons why God
pants.
destroyed cities in the Bible. They were either
Okay, let me get back to business.
homosexuality abound, or they were killing babies. We must not forget that. Later in Genesis, God put a curse on Satan for the fall. He said, I will put enmity between you and the woman, between your seed and her seed. And he will do what? Crush his head. If you missed everything else I've said, please don't miss this. As much as this is about eugenics, elitism, and control, it is ultimately about Satan's agenda to attack God's image in the womb. See, Satan knows his fate. But he plans to destroy every single innocent life that he can get his hand on. He's not going down without a fight. We see the time of Moses. What was Satan doing? Killing babies. We know he used Pharaoh. Pharaoh got insecure and he said they're growing in numbers, so we must kill off their boys. But Satan knew that the law was coming in Moses. What was they doing in the time of Jesus? Killing babies. Why? Because the fulfillment of the law was coming. See, Satan uses man's insecurities to pull off his evil plan. And my, do we have a lot of insecurities? And Satan is pulling off his evil plan. The psalmist says in Psalms 2, sinful man war with God. But Revelations remind us and warns us, but judgment will come. Man, beast, nor Satan can win a war against God. Satan is fully aware of this. And this is why he attacks the things nearest and dearest to God. God's children and the innocent and unborn. Psalms 2:10-12. Now therefore, O kings, be wise, be warned, rulers of the earth. Serve the Lord with fear and rejoice with trembling.
Genevieve,
Kiss the Son,
it's so
lest
good to
he
see
be
you. It's
angry
good to see
and you
Did
perish
take off your
in the
coat?
way.
Yeah.
For the wrath
I couldn't
of
miss
God
it.
is
I'm
quickly
glad you came,
kindled.
not on a day that was beautiful.
I
as
know.
Acts
that. You know,
4:25
if it was
says, you
snowing or
speak
ice,
by the
yeah,
Holy
then that would be the
Spirit
day
without
not to
Last
go.
year was a treat, huh?
Why do the nations
So good to
rage
see you.
and the people plot in vain? The kings of the earth take their stand and rulers gather together against the Lord, against the anointed one. Leaders, lawmakers, false prophet, and the indifferent. Be warned, this war that you are raging is proven. The end is certain. We have only one hope.
Hey, Winnie.
That hope is
What's
repentance.
good?
You cannot win a war
You think so?
against God.
You think I'm a leader? I think so.
America, we can't
I don't
continue
wanna
to
be,
violate our
but
cause with
I
our
have no
conscience
choice.
without cause. In the words of Abraham Lincoln, sir, my
Not
concern
Abraham.
is not whether God is on your side. My greatest concern is whether you are on God's side. Because God is always right. Repent today. God is faithful.
Thank
to forgive.
you.
Then we can say with confidence, God bless America. I'll close with this. What can you do? Pray. Make disciples of men. Spread God's word. Spread the truth of God's word. Love those who have lost children to abortion. Contact your lawmakers. Ask them to pass the personhood amendment. Ask your lawmakers to stop the mail-in abortion pills. Lastly, sound the alarm. Will you be the voice in the wilderness? Sound the alarm. Will you speak out for the innocent? Sound the alarm. Will you love your neighbor by telling them the truth? Sound the alarm. Thank you.
Thank you all for watching. My arm is hurting and I have to go and fraternize with people who are out here wanting to talk to me. So thank y'all for watching and always supporting my channel and supporting, my news feed or my community feed. You guys are a blessing to me. You encourage me. And I'm never going to stop.
Coalition of organizations
Pro-life for
that are
life.
fighting for humanity, the recognition of that for our preborn human beings. When I hear remarks just like the ones we just heard, recognizing that